Hi, everyone. My name is Jim Lal-Tabak. I'm a yoga teacher, energy healer, and health and wellness uh, coach and consultant. Welcome, excuse me, to this energy healing treatment. Been doing it for the last 4.5 years now, since the pandemic. And we, uh, we've just been having a great time. So I'm really glad that you could come. Those of you on Facebook Live, welcome as well. If you need to contact me, you can check out my the website bodymindmedicine.com, and also you could direct message me. So just briefly, a little of my history. Back in 1982, I had a near-death experience, and since then, I've been recovering and healing from 4 quote unquote incurable diseases, and have picked up a few things on the way as well since that time. So life is not a straight line. It's a journey, and it brings me to a thought. 2 weeks ago, I talked about quantum entanglement and how and we worked on disentangling the past. And this week, I wanted to talk about disentangling your future and what you think about the limitations to get there. So how do you restructure what you're doing to get to your vision? And so there are certain parts of my treatment modality that can help release those attachments to the future, to what you think the journey is going to be. And we want to make the journey as effortless and gentle as possible. So finding, most of what that means is that we'll find letting go of the past, the present, and the present ideas of ourselves and who we are can open up a gentle movement toward what we would where we're going. And we don't always know what that is, right? But we can have intentions and ideas, and those are all good. It's just that we want to be able to move in that direction without struggle. And so that means that if we're entangled or set on a specific goal, like this is what I have to get to, and we're stuck with it, instead of possibly, well, there could be a variation, or it's not really certain, and maybe there are better things there in the future for me. So what I'm going to propose is that we work with our vision of what we would like. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and think about envision what you would like to do in your life. And there are many things we're going to do in our lives, but if one comes to mind, what is that? What is that really, that makes you excited, or something that you've always wanted to do? It could be going on a vacation. It could be, being with a partner that you really benefit and feel good about. So there's all kinds of possible visions, and I'd like you to pick one. Doesn't have to be a big one necessarily, and just see it, and then notice if any mind chatter comes up that is limiting. notice if anything comes up like, oh, that's not really possible, or that's not a good idea, or, your father was never, whatever, you know, see what those are, notice them as they come up. And then we're going to do I'm going to do some energy work around that to release some of those, what I call thought fields, because we pick them up sometimes from out in, not just in our DNA and our experience, but out in the field of social and all those things. So anyway, if you noticed some of those, I want you to not think about it anymore. I'm going to clear some of that with intention and some healing modalities and quantum energetics. So you want to just let it go for a moment. Then what we're going to do next is revisit that vision or that idea that where you would like to be or what you would like to do, and see how it feels this time around. That you check in and see if those little gremlins, whatever you want to call them, negative thoughts, if they're still there strong, or if they've loosened up a little bit, or maybe some people just can't even think or they don't come back there. And so we'll go through, I think, a couple cycles of this, because there's one thing that happens, and that is there's a repetitive kind of, it's why we have habits. Something gets embedded, and then there's layers of it, and we can't seem to shake it, because we don't want it, but it's in some kind of what I would call a buffer, or some kind of a file, you could call it, in the quantum field. And so we need to I'm going to erase those sub routine memories that are associated with those bits and pieces of our consciousness, so that we can be free, right? We want to be free. Now, you can always, if you think this is, you're going to lose your who you are or stuff like that, there's no such thing. You can always regain. It's like people with amnesia. It comes back if you try. You go back to your same routine, and if you have the desire to pick up where you left off and don't want to move forward, it's not a problem. You'll be able to do that. That's fine. You can follow those routines. And if that feels safe to you, and it can be a little scary, and I'm going to clear that in itself, clear that fear of the unknown. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, well, let's take a break from that, and let's go again back to the vision, seeing the path. Yeah, and that's another thing. We can clear some of the pathway. and energetically. So first you see your vision. So it's the long view. See how it feels when you see that. And then what's the first step? What's the first step that you want to take to get there? And see how that feels. So take a moment and look at that first, whatever you perceive as the first step. See what that is, and see how it feels, or what thoughts and feelings do you have, or in your body if you have a physical, visceral experience of it. See how that is, and then notice it. And then let it go for a little bit here. Just breathing, noticing the present moment, coming out of whatever you saw in your mind, in your vision, in the first step. And then go back to the first step again. See what that's like. See if it feels any different. It might not. We don't always notice changes, and sometimes they don't change right away. But we're making, maybe the first step is even smaller than you think. But the step in the direction you want to go is where I believe, is the process. Now, there's another idea that pops into the head of many, and that is, maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe it's not good for, maybe it'll hurt someone, that kind of thoughts. And yeah, maybe it's a quote unquote mistake. And I wanted to talk about that, and talk about how, if we really think about, I often talk about this, and there's a lot of talk about learning from mistakes, right? Learning from mistakes. And that usually the process usually is someone thinks about what they're going to do, they take an action, and it doesn't work out exactly what they thought, and then they readjust. Now, I've heard recently a proposal that the first thing is to take the action and then assess the results. Now, the other thing I want to say and propose is that we aren't that powerful to make a mistake. The mistake, it's not a mistake. It's just what happens. What happens, and then, well, is it moral, ethical, appropriate, what we want, what we think is best for others, and we make judgments, and that's okay. So, but the point is knowing, and the ego gets in and tells us, oh, you screwed up, you're a fool, or something like that, So we want to clear that concept, so that we learn to and practice being just a kind of this vessel for the universe to flow through, and not be the one, we're not the first mover. We're not the universe, infinite universe. We're just a piece of it and we want to learn how to flow with it, right? So that's important to keep connected to. So if anything we want to entangle with is that flow of the universe. And I'm going to see if we can, let's just play with it. So think about flowing with think of something in nature, like blowing with the wind, a cloud blowing in the sky, or a leaf flowing with uh, a river. And notice if you have any fears about that, about not being connected to the shore, about flying in the sky. Those things could be scary, so I want to clear that so that you can go with that flow. And then know that, there's always the shore. You can always come back and ground and center if you need to, so you don't get, it's not all or nothing, right? We want to be able to reach in or go with that flow and then say, oh, well, maybe that's far enough for now, and come back and take a stock in what's happened, make an adjustment, things like that. So hopefully this is making sense to you. I'm going to clear any fears right now when you think about being in the flow. Again, I'm going to then think about flow, think about letting go of who you are, who you think you are. Because we assign ourselves. The things we assign that we are often hold us back. Okay. So there is another thing that I like to often think about, and that is called a pivot point. And that is when we come to a decision point and we have to change. Just an example, let's say you're walking down this is pretty basic, but it could be anything. You're walking down a road and you come to the T, the road dead ends, and you can make go left or right, and you don't know which one, right? So which one do you do? And the answer is either one, right? You when you come to that, when you hit the block in the road, you make a decision, just the decision to go right or left, and then you keep going, and then you come to another decision point, and you decide there which way to go, and you make another decision. You act we don't always see where we're going or what the results are going to be, but we need to move, and even in health circles, they're saying, keep moving, especially for older folk. Don't just let yourself atrophy. We want to make a decision and then learn from the result. And um, and there can be decisions where you make no decision, of course, and then you choose that. But this is also about self empowerment, um, and learning, right? So every time we change, every time there's a decision, and we make something, we find something to do that's different, we learn. And that's what we're here in this world to do. So think about change and see how you feel about it. Good. So next week, I'm just thinking perhaps we'll work on releasing our entanglements in the present. All the concepts we have about what is happening right now and what they mean and how they affect us. So once we're free from the past, not that we forget it, but we can move forward from it, learn from it, change. Once we do that, and once we have a vision and we feel good about that, then maybe if we're feeling stuck, we'll have to work on letting go of some of the present ideas, concepts, belief systems that we have, and we'll explore that perhaps I think next week. From here, I'm going to spend a few minutes just with some gentle healing energy, sending it out to everyone in the group. Just relax and breathe. Often I don't ask people to do so much in the class, but today just seemed that's what came up. So we're going to just close and calm the systems. Got a few minutes, so I'm going to run through the chakras, starting with the heart chakra, color green. And then moving to the first chakra, color red. Second chakra, color is orange. Third chakra, color yellow. Solar plexus. Not spending a lot of time describing, just sending some coherent energy to these areas. Back to the heart chakra, green color. And then the throat, blue. Brow chakra, or sixth chakra, third eye, purple or violet, perhaps. And then crown chakra, gold. The violets, the blues, and the golds are very healing. More etheric. we want to really let all that energy permeate through our body. We start to come out, but we're collect this energy with your hands. We could reach up and almost like we're grabbing the sun, grabbing the big energy ball that can shrink and compress and bring it down toward our heart center. And then inhale up again, catch that energy, draw it down. One more time, inhale, exhale to the heart. Take the hands, turn them toward your heart center region in your upper chest area, inviting that energy in, imagining it circulating through every cell, every area in your body. And then we'll take our hands back into a namaste or prayer type position, and then inhale, exhale. As you exhale, let that energy flow out into the universe, into the world, to the earth, to anyone who may benefit. I like to always end with for the highest good. So we're off the hook. You might have an intention for something one more time, but who are we to say what the outcomes? It's not ours. Some people try to control all that stuff out there, but we don't have to be responsible for that. We can offer it just with generosity and compassion. Hands back to center. Express gratitude. For any peace, positive experiences you have, even just our ability to breathe, to learn and grow. We can be grateful. Well, thanks for being here. It's about that time, and we'll see you next week. I put in the chat my contact information, and I also appreciate any contributions that you would like to offer, and all that stuff you can find in the chat, and it's also in the email if you're on the email list and got an email with this Zoom link. So anyway, I'll be back next week. Hopefully I'll see you all, and you're all welcome. Invite friends. It's open, and the more the merrier. The more energy we will share. So thanks for being here, and I'm going to sign off. Take care, everybody, and see you next time.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Diane.
Bye.
Thomas, Archana, Phone, Marguerite, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good one.
Yeah, man. Take care. Enjoy where you are. I know you will.
Absolutely. For sure. Much love.